Welcome back, listeners. You're listening to Ron Couming from the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show, heard weekly 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 980 WCAP, where everybody gets it. Again, my name is Ron Couming. My company's name is RCS Technology Solutions. We help companies achieve even greater success using various Internet marketing methods and techniques. The purpose of this show is to bring entrepreneurs and business owners some subject matter experts in the first two episodes who are going to give you actionable tips to increase both your business success and also happiness in life. You have to have balance, although balance is subjective. It means different things to different people. So, and I want to let you know that the people who come on this show are just coming from their heart. Nobody gets paid to be on this show. I don't get paid to be here. So everybody is here just to give back to the community. Our next guest is somebody who I am so excited to have. I've had a lot of guests on, so I hope nobody gets mad. But Jenna Phillips Ballard, who began her career in 2006 as a certified personal trainer and life coach for celebrities and has been featured on Dr. Phil and the Doctors. Halfway through her career, though, she realized that she had a bigger calling, and now she's on a mission to motivate and inspire as many people as possible to become leaders and make this world a better place. Jenna wants everyone to truly fall in love with themselves because self-love will heal this planet. She discovered the power of self-love when she made a full recovery from brain damage after waking up from a coma in 2000. Her commitment to making a full recovery depended solely on how she thought of herself, and she realized that her purpose is to empower others to break through their limiting beliefs and create an unforgettable life. In 2016, she co-founded Ascension Leadership Academy with her husband, Brad, and together they have coached hundreds of people into their greatness. She is also the founder of Unicorn University, which I hope she'll talk about today, an online membership community where women and men, I'm adding that, never spend another day being beige, broke, or behaved. Jen, are you there?
I am here. Hi, Ronald. Good morning.
Excellent, excellent. There's just a little static on the line. Hey, I'm so happy to have you on the line. How's everything going from California?
Oh, everything's fantastic. Just completed a huge training in San Diego this past weekend. So today's the day of getting caught up and enjoying the rain.
Yeah, and I heard there was like 71 graduates this session.
Well, that was a different team. So we had another training weekend for a different team this past weekend. We have many teams going through this process at any given moment. So consistently always coaching over, anywhere between 100 and 200 people. So it's a lot of work, but absolutely my purpose. So I'm just honored to be able to facilitate that.
Wait a minute. Did you just say 100 to 300 people over this last weekend?
This past weekend we had a team of 28, but the teams always vary in size. So the team that just graduated 2 weekends ago, there were 71 students. The next team going through is about 85 students. So anywhere between we're coaching anywhere between 100 to 200 people at any given moment. So collectively with all the teams going through, so it's pretty powerful.
I love it. And I am going to give you a chance to talk about your stuff, but I want to let the listeners know that the first course, there's 3 stages of your courses, right? So it's like the beginners, intermediate,
Correct.
And then advanced. So it's not, and each one is like 2 months apart or something, so it gives people a chance to fully digest and to grow into what they've learned from each level.
Yeah, well, we break it up into 3 different levels. So our curriculum is actually stretched out over the course of 4 months. And the first level is a 3-day workshop, and that is the discovery workshop, where you really get to look at everything that has been standing in your way from creating everything you want. So whether that's a relationship or the business idea that you had 5 years ago, but you never acted upon it. If you're having a breakdown in your abundance or a breakdown in your communication or a breakdown in your family or in your community, you get to really look at that. And so we support people in looking at where it's actually coming from, like what is the actual cause. And then once you get into recognition of that, then you start to begin the process of becoming emotionally intelligent. So that when you have these things come up, or you have the fears come up, or you have the conversations come up that sound something like, you're not ready, you can't do it, you're not worthy. What would have you think that he would fall in love with you? And so whatever conversation stops us and has us get completely stopped dead in our tracks, that happens in the discovery workshops. You really get leverage. And then in the 4-day breakthrough training, that's about 2 to 3 weeks later. And you go through a series of experiential exercises that are confrontive, incredibly uncomfortable, but really jolting for the ego, and really has people wake up and really look at, okay, like, what is the life that I actually want to cause? What is the legacy I want to leave behind on this planet? What's the difference I want to make? And then your ego goes through a sequence of ego deaths, what I like to call them, because it's really confrontive, and your ego gets really backed up. But you make a choice in either, okay, do I move forward and really cause transformation in my world and the life of people around me, and what do I want to actually create in my lifetime? And then level 3 is 3 months of life coaching, which is actually it's a chosen part of the journey. So we really try to have people not choose this part, because it's a very high demanding, rigorous, intentional, intense 3 months, and we don't want to drag anybody through the process. So we want people who are really committed to being leaders and who are committed to focusing out and making a difference in the world. So we wind up coaching anyone who chooses as part of the process completely free for 3 months. So people will have a free life coach for 3 months, and working with a team and an incredible staff of coaches. So it's beautiful because there are 3 training weekends in this process. And the team that I just was supporting this past weekend, it was their second training weekend. So the first training weekend is all about confronting image. The second training weekend is all about breaking through, leaving everything behind the line. And the third training weekend, which is my favorite part of the entire journey, is a retreat where we go sleep somewhere in an undisclosed location, because it's a big, beautiful surprise. And it's a weekend about celebration and recognition and acknowledgement. And it's hands down the most beautiful experience that I've ever had in my lifetime as a human. And it's ultimately the reason why I do this work, because of the magic that is created there. So it's just a beautiful journey from beginning to end. And I'm just absolutely grateful to be doing this work with my husband.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how you met your husband's amazing, too, in your personal journey. I mean, your whole life story and what you're doing now. I plan on doing 1, 2, and 3 and going through your course. I'm going to St. Croix for 2 months, and then I'll be back.
Ooh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's
but I'm going to
awesome.
be working.
So cool.
Yeah. That'll be my satellite office. I own internet marketing companies, and so I can work anywhere, as long as I have an internet connection.
That's great.
Yep. So I'll be in St. Croix for a couple of months, and then I'll come back in April or May. I'd like to jump on board. I know we've been talking for, I don't know, it feels like over a year now, and I've wanted to. Yeah, when I was in San Diego or L.A. not too long ago, November and December, I was there twice, but those are just, happened to be where you had weekends coming up for your courses, so I wasn't able to meet you in person.
Well, timing is everything, Ron, and I believe that when you're able to go and create the time and space to have it happen, then that's going to be the team that you're meant to be with, and you're going to meet some really incredibly powerful people who you're meant to know. So timing is everything, and I can't wait to have you.
And in addition to your structured courses, you also have a train of thought every Thursday. And even if you're at a session or you're at dinner with people like this last week, you break away and you have it. It's 7 o'clock your time, 10 o'clock our time, Eastern time. And the information you give, I mean, it's priceless. It helps people understand certain things they're going through, and other people who are on there have comments. So, I mean, the whole and it's totally free. So anybody, I strongly encourage you to connect with Jenna Phillips Ballard on Facebook and start listening to those lives. Are you also on Periscope or anything else, or are you just strictly on Facebook Live now?
I started doing the live thing on Periscope, and it was interesting because the reason why I didn't do Periscope for as long as I did, people are like, I get on Periscope, and I'm like, I had this story that I was like, who's going to watch me? I don't have an audience there. All my audience is on Facebook. And my first Periscope, I think I had like 400 people watching me live. So it was just, so I got really excited about that. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. And I totally want to keep doing it. And I was consistent on Periscope for a little bit. But once I started doing Facebook Live, it just took off right away. And so the engagement that I get on Facebook Live is massive. And it's just so powerful. So I really have a lot more fun on Facebook Live than on Periscope. But my Periscope audience is like, hi, come back. So this is a reminder for me, now that we're talking about it, I'll do a Periscope today just because you mentioned it. So thank you for that.
Yep, and that's great. Either way is fine. I mean, I just want the listeners to know how to connect with you.
Sure.
And as far as if you had two phones or you had your laptop and another phone, you could actually do, and you might be able to do split screen depending on whether you got an Apple or an Android. So you might be able to do a split screen, right, and do your live while you have Periscope open and Facebook Live open. So you could actually, in worst case scenario, you'd maybe use your husband's phone or someone's, log into your account on his phone in Periscope and just put the two phones next to each other, and you could do the lives on both at the same time.
So that's actually a really good idea. I think I may look into that. Thanks for that, Ron.
Yeah, because I know like this Thursday I'm giving a 40-minute speech on internet marketing to the Boston Business Network, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have live going, and I'm also going to have my my HD recorder, so I can just record it and then edit it and then put it out there for anybody to read.
I love that.
Watch it.
Yeah, I think to my detriment, I get so invested in the people. I just want to connect with the audiences, and so. I guess the challenge for me is learning how to kind of balance that and navigate that while I'm live with both audiences. But I love the idea.
Excellent. Now, tell us more about you as an individual, what you want the listeners to know. And listeners, I'm telling you, you have to connect with Jenna, irrespective of what she's going to tell you now, which is just going to solidify what I've just told you. You've got to get in touch with her. So go ahead, Jenna. You take over.
Oh, thanks, Ron. Well, yeah, I mean, what I'm working on now, you obviously touched on my bio and who I've been and what I've created. My messaging really has always been the same. I mean, I've really taken on this responsibility of being a leader and supporting people and being responsible with their leadership. So that's been very, very present and constant for me. And what I want to say is that it's easy to get bogged down by the feeling of like, okay, if I'm going to change the world, that means I need to make a difference with millions and millions of people. But we can actually change the world by making a difference with one person at a time. And the reason why I say that is because you never know what kind of an impact you will have on someone. I mean, we all have this gift. We all have this magic within us. And we can change somebody's entire day just by acknowledging them, by addressing them, calling them by their name. So if we go into Starbucks, rather than just kind of going through the motions and not even making eye contact with the barista, what do you think would be available if you connect with that person and address them by their name and ask them how their day is and actually look into their eyes? And it's that level of disconnection that is so common in our society and our culture that has us be so connected to our devices. We're more connected to our devices than we are to other human beings. I mean, our eyes are fixated on our little glowing screens, but we don't give ourselves the gift of connecting with humans on a regular basis. So, the Women's March that took place all over the world on Saturday, I mean, that whole movement was it started with one woman. One woman had the idea, she had the vision, she had the mission of, standing and speaking her voice and using her voice and exercising her right to protest and a peaceful protest, her disappointment with the outcome of the president election. So she created this invite. I mean, she invited 40 people. She lived in Hawaii. She invited 40 people to go to Washington, D.C. in March after the inauguration. And overnight, she had 10,000 more people invited into this event, and then 10,000 additional people were waiting to be accepted into this event. So, I mean, it just exploded overnight. And then look at the transformation that was caused. Look at the peaceful communication that took place in the writing. I mean, this is just what's possible when one person is committed to their vision and really clear about the intention. If the intention is pure, I mean, the result, the outcome can be so magnificent. And that's ultimately what Brad and I, my husband and I, have experienced by launching Ascension Leadership Academy down in San Diego. Is our intention was pure to come down and open up the doors to transformation in the community down in San Diego. And we have people flying in from all over the country, all over the world, all over California, all over San Diego, who are begging to come to our courses. And this last one with 71 students, it's sold out. The next one sold out. Like, it's just happening at a beautiful rate. And the reason why I bring this up is because I want everyone who's listening to know that whatever it is that you have in your mind, whatever it is you have in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, whatever it is that you want to cause and create in this world, you absolutely can, and it's possible. So, we get intimidated by the size of ourselves. Like we feel so small, in this massive, gigantic world. And I just really bring all this up because I want everyone to know that whatever it is that you want to accomplish and create in your life, the best way to begin is simply to begin.
Nice. You got to start somewhere, right? You got to start to be good. You got to be good to be great, right?
Absolutely.
Nice. Can you tell us about Unicorn University?
Sure. And I did hear you add in and men in the description. But I hate to break it to you, Ronald, but this is an experience purely for women. I feel it, but I'm not opposed to bringing this to men in the future. However,
I don't understand the gender inequality, but
I'm looking at the possibility of creating a specific experience for men in the future, and I may call it, Manicorn or Pegasus. Or I know that you are a unicorn for sure. I know that you love unicorns and you are one. But I'm looking at a way to create that in the future. I definitely am passionate about creating safe spaces for groups. So a safe space for women to share what they're going through. And I've also done a lot of work with men, the masculine feminine balance. And so I definitely believe there's a need for that. So, in the future, I want to create something specifically for men that'll give men the space and the freedom to really feel like they can share what they're going through. And my mentor actually has created a powerful workshop called Grace for Women and Grace Revealed for Men. And she creates like these beautiful containers for men and women to embody transformation. So maybe more on that later. But for now, the reason why I created Unicorn University was because I often feel like I need to be this professional, polished, serious businesswoman. And of course, the container that I've created. I mean, we have a lot of professional people going through our trainings. And that is a side of me. That's a part of me. And the kind of work that I do when I facilitate a training is intense. I mean, who you see online is like the sparkly, happy, shining, glittery unicorn of a character. I mean, colors and pink and happiness and tutus. But I get really, really fierce in trainings, and it's like from the depths of my soul when I stand for somebody to have breakthroughs, and it's incredibly confrontive. It's incredibly interruptive. But the distinction that I always land with the students in the room is that I'm not attacking them. I'm attacking their ego, the walls they've been building around their bodies, around their hearts, around their souls, their spirits, their dreams for as long as they can remember. So it's really the only way to break down these walls is to actually, really come up against them and confront them. So I have two egos. I have my unicorn ego and then my transformational interruptive side. And so people get to experience that when they go to the trainings. And they also love the fact that I'm openly claiming the fact that I'm a unicorn and I get to play in that space and I get to be that person. So, the reason why I decided to create Unicorn University is because I was feeling very limited in just operating in the frequency of transformational facilitator, intense, powerful, that even though that's a domain that I love to be in, I really still felt limited, like I wasn't really allowing myself to play and really expand into the full expression of who I authentically am. So it was a breakthrough for me because this is what I coach women and men into, is to own who you are, don't hold back, no excuses, be in love with yourself and fully give yourself permission to be who you want to be. And so I had a friend of mine who really stood for me to just accept and own the fact that I'm a unicorn. And she had a dream about me. She said, I had this dream that you were on the stage and you were, giving speeches and you were teaching workshops, but you were wearing tutus and everything was pink and colorful and beautiful and shining and sparkling and chandeliers and high heels. And I said, that sounds great. I said, okay, I totally am inspired and enrolled. And I really got to play around with that. And I was sitting on my computer and doing like an outline of, what that would look like if I were to create a membership experience and create, events and really take this to the full distance. What would that look like? And then I got this download from the universe or from God or my higher self or whatever it is that, that resonates with you. So I got very clear that I get to call it Unicorn University, and I wound up looking online. The domain unicornuniversity.com was bought, and somebody else owned it, and I was like, it's going to be mine, and I figured out how to own it, and I bought it, and I began building my membership website. So Yeah, so I'm going to be launching my first ever online program called Unleash Your Inner Unicorn. And, the power of that is that, once you get through the entire process, once you complete the 6 weeks, then you have access to Unicorn University, which is going to be a private Facebook group where I'm going to have women stretching weekly and speaking the same language and connecting and being a part of a tribe that ultimately will forever change the world. So that's what I'm up to. That's my main focus right now.
Excellent. And Jenna, we're coming up to a hard break in a second. Are you available to stay on for a couple of minutes and do another 10 minutes, or do you need to go?
Sure. I can make it work.
Okay. Everybody, you've been listening to Ron Couming, the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show, and we'll be right back. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Ron Couming on the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show. We're talking with Jenna Phillips Ballard, who is a total wellness philosopher, coach, facilitator, and speaker who is on a mission. And this is part 2. We were just speaking with Jenna, took a break, and now we're back. Jenna, are you still with us?
Most certainly.
Excellent. There is just normally the third episode. I do like tips, but I give tips all the time. Your being here is priceless, and the information that you were just giving out, there's just no way we could have just had a quick end. So, what you were just talking about. Yeah, but it's true. And listeners, if for some reason you didn't listen to the first episode, the first episode as well as this episode, if it's in 2 separate pieces instead of, I'm going to try to put them all together. But if for some reason they're in 2 pieces, it's archived on my website, rcstechnologysolutions.com. Just go to media, and then the second knob down will be radio show, and also on WCAP 980 AM's radio stations archive. Jenna, can you please tell us more? Now, but I want to talk a little bit more about this Unicorn University. I absolutely agree that men and women have different issues and different things going forward. So I can see the need to separate so people can have that, mental and emotional freedom inside to just let loose and talk freely without having to worry about people judge them or whatever might prevent them.
Well, I want to say, Ron, you're not the first man who has demanded to be a part of Unicorn University. So
well, wait a minute. But here's another thing, right? As long as it's recognized that men are and can be unicorns. So it's not that just women can be unicorns. Maybe this university, this class, is designed for female unicorns, but as long as men can be unicorns too, I'm good with that.
Oh, I am very clear that men can be unicorns, and the essence of what it means to be a unicorn, and the way that what I describe in my online course, and also ultimately the Unicorn University. It really is to be a unicorn is to be abundant, is to be free of judgment of yourself and others, and to be all inclusive, and to support people in winning and being their best selves. Because I personally want everybody to win. I want everyone to be successful, even people who on the surface, on the outside, may be considered to be not good people or kind people. Like I want everyone to have that freedom where they really truly get to have abundance and freedom and joyness and happiness and to really be at that level. It requires someone to be free in their own world. So when people are suffering and they act out and they're not kind, so I'm sure that you've experienced people who don't have any class, who don't have any tact, who say things and you're like, I cannot believe that person just said that, and they're rude, or whatever it is that their current experience is. I mean, they're suffering on some level, otherwise they wouldn't act out in that way. So I'm always looking at ways that I can support people in seeing what's available when you focus in and you put on your oxygen mask first, and then you get to take care of others. So you get to love yourself first before you can actually effectively and efficiently and sufficiently love other people. So that's ultimately what I'm teaching women, is how to really embrace their worth. And I also teach this as well in Ascension Leadership Academy, ALA for short. So at ALA, I mean, the same kind of messaging that I'm teaching men and women who go through our trainings, I'm teaching in a different way, a different package, a different vehicle with Unicorn University, because there are people who don't have the financial means to come all the way out to California to go through our trainings, and so this is a way to have more connections to people all over the world. And and just have it, be packaged in a fun, sparkly little way.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. And we're down to like under 2 minutes. And I agree with you that a lot of the suffering in the world can be traced back to people not dealing with their underlying causal factors and not having that mental emotional connection to what's causing them to act in such dysfunctional manners can cause these things. But if they can start the process of understanding them, then they can start the process of changing them.
Absolutely. Well said.
Jenna? Yep, Jenna, you are a giant in the industry. I am so blessed that you came on the show for a second time. I want to give your contact information. It's JennaPhillipsBallard.com, and you've been listening to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ronald Couming.